TCR World Tour. We are still in Asia. We are doing the Ningbo full circuit without the chicane. This is going to be a hot one. Drivers have taken to qualifying already. Let's get over towards the action without any delay. Qualifying just getting going for this 21 corner circuit, which will test every driver's patience and stamina going forward. Let's take a look at the standings very quickly. Figure out where everybody falls in line so far. The double headers as usual, two 20-minute races, reverse grid for the second one. This will be quite interesting, as it usually always is. Salman Saud in first place with 134 points. 6 races to his name with 4 wins attached to that victory. Travis Manikis in P2 for the championship with 122 points, 6 races and a single win to their name. Keyshawn Hall in third place in the Audi LMS. Looking at him right now, actually, with 100 points, 6 races. Renee Martinez in fourth with 83. Dirk Diggler in the Renault, 64 points back for them, as we see a couple of boys getting familiar with each other. Keep it on going down. Jake Foucher in 6th place in the Cooper Leon with 56. Ramir Perez down in 7th. Missed a race last week. He's 2 down on the field, 50 points. Oscar Zayas, 40 points for them. Christian Castro, 33. Derek McCord with 29, also missing out for 2. Ethan Lawrence missing out quite a few now, only 2 races to their name, down in 11. And Francisco Belay with 19 points. Salman Saud, the only one really getting a lap done so far, 148.0, excuse me. Derek looks like he may have gotten a 1 in or is about to get 1 down now. Yep, there's Derek provisionally in 2nd place with a 151. Hurst tucks it in between him and Saud. Jake Foucher getting towards the line. See if he's got 1 down himself. He does. Foucher sets down a 1.6. Slower than Saud. That's a 148 flat nearly from Salman Saud. 49.6 from Foucher, 49.8 for Hurst, and then McCord with the 50.3. Last around. Looks like these boys will only get 1 or 2 more cracks at this, with the time just ticking away. 8 drivers total right now in the field. Newcomer Alex Ackerell is back in it in the VW machinery. Looking good, looking good. Not too familiar with the Ningbo circuit. Let's see if we can hop on the McCord train take a look at what a lap looks like around this circuit. Headed down into T2, it looks like. Back-to-back 90-degree corners for T2 and T3. Flipping it back with this double right-hander for 4 and 5. Just like a 110R at Suzuka. Almost onto this little straightaway before you get into this switchback of 6. A carousel for 7, it looks like. On our way into another double right-hander, 8 and 9. Continuation of that following carousel. Big long straight here leading into the hairpin of 10 and 11. Deep here, pointed it out like he's gonna V this. Runs super wide on the exit of 11 and punches it for this other straight. Heading up to turn 12, looks slower than you need to go because it's tighter than it looks. Up this back section right now, on our way to the chicane of 13. 14 puts you out to another big old hairpin. Tightening radius, it looks like, so the board's just sending it around. Back down into the chicane of 15 and 16, 16 and 17. And another hairpin of 18 at the bottom of it all. Left-hander of 19 and another chicane of 19, 20, and 21 to finish off the track. A little bit like Maggio, it looks like slow down, slow down, slow down, turn, slow down, slow down. Over and over and over again. Ford going a little bit faster, but not doing any better than he did last time. Still about 3 seconds off the pace. .433 from record that last lap around, so didn't quite improve like he thought he was gonna. Saud just a couple of tenths faster now through sector 3, up on his own, pushing that gap wider between him and Keyshawn Hall. Like Jake Foucher might be able to do something to improve on his own time, unless that might be track limits for him. He did invalidate his last lap around. His best was a 49.6. I have a feeling like he has it in him to go any better, but no, that will end the session. He must have invalidated that lap earlier on. It'll do it here for qualifying. 47.2 for Saud. 47.8 for Hall in second place. Foucher, Hurst, McCord, Ackerol, and Zayas, rounding out the 7 racers here tonight. Nice things about the race room service is that the races get going really, really fast. 60 seconds and we are gonna get going. No time for tomfoolery, no time for jubilee. Let's just get going, they say. All right, the lights are now firing away. Green, green, green. The drivers are now taking off, and away we go towards turn one. Here at the Ningbo circuit. Jake Foucher around the outside, going a little wide to avoid any confrontation, but gets a little bump side to side. With Keith Hurst, it looks like, who's having a little bumping and grinding with McCord. Almost 3 wide abreast along this middle section of the track. Alex Ackerall getting in the middle of this, surrounded by Hurst and Zayas right now. Swapping back and forth a little bit, inside, outside lines, all that good stuff. Swapping around, McCord settles down into 4th place for now. Behind him is Hurst. Behind that is Ackerall. Around the outside now is Jake Foucher. That spicy little switchback didn't quite work out for McCord, as there's a side-by-side behind, and that's Manikis and Ackerall in the back, going at it toe-to-toe. Manikis has been wavering since the first couple races we saw him get down with a get down. Not sure what's going on with him. He was my championship better, and then now Ackerall goes off, having a significant moment. Up ahead, it's Hurst and McCord side by side through the chicane. Looks like 16-17 as we approach the downhill section of 18, and on our way to the last few corners before the track concludes. Ooh, a big lunge from behind. Was that Manikis? That was Manikis. Whoa, big ol' send from him on the inside of McCord. And that's a position secured. Uh-oh. Ethan Lawrence wants a taste of McCord now. Saw the weakness in the armor. Gonna try to put an arrow through the same hole that Manikis did just a lap earlier. On board with Ethan Lawrence. That's Derek McCord right in front, going a little wide. I believe we're at turn 11 right now. Heading on our way to turn 12 on the back straight. Gotta set yourself up to go a little bit slower than you expected. McCord didn't quite do that and goes super wide. That's gonna slow him down. Setting this all up right now. Ethan Lawrence trying to get a wheel along the inside. Sure did. Chucks it over the chicane and keeps the position for just a moment as McCord goes for the switchback. Has the patience and due diligence to make it done back. Through this next chicane, Zayas is closed in on the fighting duo. Side to side again, going wide, trying to get a big ol' run. Let's see what Zayas is looking at now. These two guys using up all the track. Zayas just trying to figure out where they can fit into all this. Ooh, Zayas on the inside, chucks it over the curb. Doesn't quite get a wheel along the inside, but was there and threatening the position. Ethan Lawrence now falling away from the McCord man. Losing touch just a little bit, but here at 11, that's where he went wide before, and he did it again, giving Ethan Lawrence a little bit of an opportunity to catch back up. That gap back down to 3/10. Under braking, Lawrence has enough to close down the gap on the brakes alone. Derek being McCord being very, very cautious now on the brakes, not wanting to get it go too deep here, it looks like. You saw what that did for him last time. Came very under threat from Lawrence during this last sector. Oh, again, switchback engaged. That's what I was talking about. McCord goes deep and wide on the brakes, gives it up to Lawrence. Mistake he was not trying to make, but inevitably did again. 6/10 back for McCord. Taking a look at the leaders very quickly now. Salman Saud, 147.338. That's their best lap completed so far. First place for them. Keyshawn Hall, only about a second and a half back. That's better than we've seen before. Many of the other members here at GRG to try to give it to a challenge. Derek McCord, nice and close with Ethan Lawrence now. That gap slinking back a little bit more quickly than I anticipated. Keith Hurst somehow getting involved in some of this. Now right in front of Ethan, only 6/10 up. Travis Manikis is only a 0.5 back from Foucher as well. So we'll have to take a look at that in just a second. Manikis 0.2 back from Foucher, trying to make something happen. Manikis usually has the pace to be a front runner. Surprising to see him back here, having to duke it out with Jake right now. Foucher. Not that Foucher's slow or anything, he's definitely no slouch, but we saw him run away and try to give Saud a run for his money in round 2. On the inside, Foucher tries to go for that move he pulled earlier. And wow, he's a weapon through turn 1 and 2, has the move secured and moves on from that. Maybe looking to snap back right now is Jake Foucher on the inside, but runs very deep through the chicane. Has to back off the throttle and loses out nearly a second just on that exchange. What a heartfelt battle and way to try to snap back, as McCord is now still in 7th place, ahead of Zayas, behind Lawrence. McCord in the 69, trying to close down to Lawrence ahead in the 18. That gap is slinking back and forth. Not quite as much as it should, and just as I say that, McCord tries to go side by side with Lawrence. Guys, pretty equally matched, it looks like. Taking a look at their best lap times. Ooh, round the I say round the outside, around the inside, around the outside and the inside. Ford and Lawrence swap it back again. Best lap, not really telling the story here. 58 for McCord and a 59 from Lawrence. Keyshawn Hall now 1.7 back from Saud ahead. Going back to Lawrence now. Side by side with McCourt. On their way through 12. Who's going to get pushed off wide? McCourt goes, but not too far off. A little flashy from Lawrence behind. Feels like he had his real estate yanked away from them. Both of them yeeting it over the curves. McCourt getting a little drifty and spitting out through that one. Might lose out another position to Zayas, and does as they make their way through. McCourt back into 8th place now. Bit of a send over the curbs caused a lockup in the brakes, and then that spun him round, an uncontrollable bounce, I guess. Sent him to that little spin. Three minutes remaining in this round, in this race. 46.9 being the best lap from Saud for now. Keyshawn Hall with a 47.3, 47.9 from Manikis. We're not going to see those guys come together, it looks like. 48.4 for Foucher. First with a 49.2. So everybody sitting about where they are, except for this McCord action. Trying to get back ahead of Zayas and within touching distance of Lawrence, but that might be a tough feat as Lawrence is kind of scampered away for a moment. That is McCord's weakest part of the track, it looks like. The Sector 3. 18, 19, 20, 21, giving him the hardest of troubles right now. Still keeping within touching distance of Zayas for now, only half a second away from 7th place. There we go. Let's go look at a dash camera of McCord. Watch the inside line he tries to go for. Shortest way around, got there first, but Zayas still needed to get there, but now goes wide at 11. This sets up McCord for the entry to turn 12. Goes back to the racing line ahead of Zayas now. Zayas doesn't look like he wants to challenge that at the end of 12. 44 seconds remaining on the clock. McCord now under half a second right now. Oh, on the inside of Zayas, backs off just a hair to make sure that there's no contact. Going for that inside line again for the double right-hander. 10, 11. Oh, there's contact between McCord and Zayas, forcing Zayas wide and off track. McCord files in single file. Got off the throttle to make sure that position was returned. Pushing it to the limit now through 12, closing down the gap. This other straight along the back half of the racetrack. On the way to 13 and 14, this tight little chicane, McCord's weakest part right now. Can he hold on? Going for an alternative line to Zayas, who looks to be defending the inside. McCord trying to get a big ol' run out of that hairpin of 15 into 16 and 17. McCord's been here before. Super patient. Lost a little bit of a gap between him and Zayas. Pushing super hard. Wide goes Zayas. Not wanting to give up this position and any additional points. They get through 19 and 20, pushing it onto the front straight. McCord can't retaliate now. Not even the slipstream is going to help him, and that'll be it for the race one. Race winner being Salman Saud, Keyshawn Hall in second, Travis Monikis in third, Jake Foucher in fourth. Fifth going to the Hearst man. Sixth is Lawrence. Seventh for Zayas. Eighth for McCord, and ninth for Accarel, who took a DNF, not setting a lap and not getting one completed. Fastest lap going to Saud as well. That 46.9 being the fastest in the race. Race 2 will get going in just under a minute. Don't go away too far, folks. The action will get going fast. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Looks like the grid is set for race 2. Let's snap away to the action. Yep, grid is now set. Inverse as usual. The lights are off and go, go, go. Away we are into turn 1. It is tight at the front. Keyshawn Hull, Salman Saud, 1 and 2 side by side. Foucher in third, Monikis in fourth. Trying to shake it up this time and do better than last. Salman Saud falling back to third for just a moment as he goes for the outside line switchback. Goes to the inside after the chicane. Keeping ahead, and now it's a game of cat and mouse between Saud and Hall. Big Foucher having a moment with Keith Hurst in the black livery. Everybody going wide at the end of 12. Trying to get something going for this first lap. Ooh, that's Saud going into the bumper of Hall. I don't think you can get any closer than what we're looking at right now. As Hall yeets it over the curb. That looks like 17-16. Back to Manikis for just a moment, looking at what he's doing and threatening Saud ahead as well. This three-way battle is getting exciting, but let's look at Ethan Lawrence also within touching distance of McCord as this battle rages on. From last race, turning into contact. Just as I said that, Ethan runs straight into the back of McCord and delays the inevitable battle. But this three-way fight isn't going to go anywhere. Hate to say it, Hall, but you might be the cork in the bottle for Saud. And forcing Manikis to have an opportunity here. Saud being patient, trying to go for the switchback, but Hall has parked it perfectly at the apex. Saud can't respond, goes wide, trying to get a big ol' run, holding onto the outside. Hall parks it right where he needs to in the middle of the track, forcing Saud to not have a place to go to. No home to return to either. Saud taking a peek on the inside line, trying to get a reaction from Hall. Can't do it yet, but now forces a reaction on the inside line defense here during this hairpin. It's not a huge straightaway where Saud could take advantage of that, but his presence is commanded now. Perhaps Manikis is just watching and waiting, taking to the normal racing line, not getting fooled by any of the surprising action going on ahead, getting a little sideways through the turns though. He might have his eyes on the action and not on what he needs to be doing. Minutes left. Manikis is pushing hard, trying to take advantage of some of these track limits, it looks like. Pushing hard in that chicane. I'm sure he must have gotten a warning by now. Not only are the warnings going to be mounting up, but the time loss too has to be very big after turning this TCR into a bicycle. Losing out on all that traction as Saud tries to go for another switchback, but Hall holds onto it. Now he gets bumped by Saud even. A little bit of frustration there as Saud's trying to make something happen, but can't quite make it work. Let's go back to Keith Hurst, though, on the inside of Foucher. Same place, same time. That's turn 12. Ethan Lawrence having a moment with McCord and Zayas. A little three-way battle going on from last race. Still raging on. A little bump in the rump from McCord to Lawrence. No love lost between friends. That kind of yeets him alongside Zayas, who's now on the outside of the following hairpin. Back to the inside, though. Keeps it secured. That little bump in the rump definitely put him alongside Zayas, and chops the nose off McCord. That battle continues. Take a look at the Jake Hurst battle. This one is spicy. Jake Foucher's car has seen some better days though. That hood looking up like a crumpled up beer can you find rolling around in your garage. Ethan now side by side, no, alongside and ahead of Zayas into turn 1. But can he hold on? He had to go slow into turn 1 to avoid contact. And that hood is flapping in the wind, crinkled up as well, and Zayas facing some significant hood damage also. His damage model being pretty good looking. You know, Ethan had a few moments early in this race, running into the back of some friends and foes alike. Inside line running a little wide. That's going to open the door for McCord to try to challenge, but McCord's being patient now, late on the brakes for Lawrence. Gets it hooked up to the apex, slows Zayas down enough to throw McCord into the mix. McCord backing off significantly. Not sure what happened there, what caused that slowdown. Maybe there was I don't know what to say, honestly, but let's go snap to the leaders very quickly as that gap has slinkied back to a 2/10 range. Saud in the sandwich of Hall and Manikis. This is the battle for the podium positions. Saud along the inside of Hall. Can they defend through turn 1? No. Hall around the outside of turn 2 is trying to set up something for turn 3. Going through this short run at it. Can they defend against Saud now, or is it all over for Hall? That damage doesn't look to be slowing down Saud any more so than normal. One, two, three, all in a row. Saud, Hall, and Manikis, all about within 2 seconds of each other. I wouldn't write this quite off yet. Hall and Manikis are still going to be throwing things at each other all race long, and we've got 5.5 left to go. On board with Manikis now. Ooh, Manikis into Hall, quite literally. On board with Hall, looking back at Manikis now. That was turn 11. We're headed towards turn 12 now. 3 minutes left on the clock. Manikis pushing super hard and wide there. Wants a taste of Hall. Looks like he had the pace to be up ahead into P2 last race, and Manikis now going for it. Up the inside of Hall. Potentially staying ahead, but during these switchbacks, inside, outside, turn into inside, Hall gets it switched back up. Manikis thinking he had it secure, not quite yet. Have to do a little bit more thinking to make it done like that in Sector 3. Keeping it close, Manikis wants to challenge the inside of turn 1, turn 2 now. All around the outside, the long way there, but knows he was able to carry quite a bit more speed, leaving quite a bit of room on the inside for Manikis now. Manikis back on the inside, Hall going for that same switchback as earlier. Can Manikis slow it down enough to refuse the contact? He is, but goes a little wide, forcing Hall to do the same. Around the outside of T9, single file, headed towards turn 10 now. Jake has the inside. That's Manikis, excuse me. Manikis goes deep. He's ahead of Hall for just that moment. Into 12. Who's going to ruin it now? Neither of them. Go off and into the marbles, ruining this run up into 13-14 chicane. But this is where it happened last time. This is where the mistake will get ironed out. There it is. Manikis goes a little deep. Hall on the inside. That's all he needed to force his nose there. Goes for the switchback through the chicane. Hall has it secured for just a moment. As we saw last time, Hall did his thinking and put that thinking cap on. He knew how this was going to pan out and through the exit of 19 and 20 onto the front straight, has the move secured right back. Hall really had to stay on top of it to figure how that one was going to work out at the end of the day. Manikis trying to go for the same move. Stays away from making the same mistake twice. 16 seconds left on the clock. We're going to have one lap remaining, folks. Manikis being patient now. He's done this at least twice. This pass in Sector 3 has got to be calculated. Oh, Manikis deep. Super deep, but forces Keyshawn on the defense now. This is what I was talking about. This little action shot will tell the tale of how Manikis wants to set up Hall. Or if he's even able to do so. Oh, no. Looks like Manikis having a moment there. Oh, stays behind Hall, looks like. And that will be the checkered flag out for everybody, I think. P1 going to Saud there. Hall and Manicus fighting tooth and nail till the bitter end. For P2 and P3, Foucher in fourth. It does it for him. If I'm not mistaken. Yep. And Hurst in fifth. Sixth for Lawrence. And seventh for Zayas. McCord in eighth. And Ackrell not quite finishing again. Victory going out to Saud. That will extend his lead. Hall closing down, but can't quite get ahead in the points of Saud, that looks like. Manicus having a humdinger of a race in third place. Good on him. Having the fastest lap of 46.9 again. Like the fastest of anybody. That looks like it's going to do it for us here at GRG on the race room system. Make sure you join us next week. We're going to be at the Zhejiang East Circuit on the 18th in, looks like, 2 weeks' time, if my math is correct. So 1 week off. Practice is going to start at 2000 Eastern Daylight Time. Practice is for 10 minutes. Qualifying 10 minutes later. Race 1 starting 10 minutes after that. If you like what you see, come check us out at the Good Old Racing Group. The link and the social are up top and down below. So make sure you give us a look and join us if you can. I'm High, as always. Thank you for joining us. And as always, stay safe, folks.